disconnect with what we can do and what is reasonable and what our expectations are. Hello friends, welcome back to La Casita Jardin. So for those of you who are new here, I'm really excited that you're here. And for those of you who have been here for a while, thank you for still being here. I'm really excited that you're here. My name is Heather, and today we are in the dining room with a bowl of shelling peas, and we're gonna have a conversation. Yeah, because some things need to be said. So let's go on ahead and get on with the video here. Okay guys, so obviously we need to have a conversation. And the main reason that I wanted, well, I didn't really want to make this video. This wasn't the video I intended on sitting down and making today, ironically. But I just couldn't get it out of my head. I could not get it out of my head. And so I decided to go on ahead and sit down and talk with you about it, because in all honesty, I hear this pretty frequently, or some version of it. And it goes something like this from most people. Well, I don't have XYZ to be able to do XYZ in order to have food. I hear it a lot, believe it or not. So most of the time people don't think that they have enough space to be able to grow their own food for food storage and security. Now, I'm going to try and not step on toes here, but this video is probably going to step on some toes. I am here to tell you that you can. You can have food security, you can grow your own food, and there's a very strong possibility that you don't need as much food as you think you do. I know that that's a very, very probably shocking statement, but honestly, I found this to be true in my own experience. Now, I get where preppers are coming from, I really do. And I'm not saying don't prep. I'm not saying don't be prepared for situations that you definitely know are going to arise. If you know that you have rolling blackouts in the winter, be prepared for that. That's not what this video is about disrespecting prepping in general, because that's not my intention. But I think that for the majority of us, we have maybe overcomplicated what needs to happen in order to have food security. And I think we have created this idea in our minds of what it actually looks like. And even for myself, it has changed dramatically in 7 months. So when it comes to prep, obviously I'm shelling peas here. I'm still prepping technically for winter, but I have this sense of just more calmness, more quietness about what I have available to me, because year-round cattle is available here. Year-round hogs are available here. I can get meat, period. End of subject. I have access to chickens. I have access to turkey even if I wanted. So fish, venison. So I have what I need locally, and I know where to source it. I've even been able to source a few places that are doing raw milks now. So I'm making my own yogurts. I am able to consume raw dairy again and not have inflammatory reactions. So it's really amazing. I have access to chicken eggs here. Now, at some point, you know, ideally, I'll have maybe a little bit more space, maybe have some chickens. I would like to have sheep so that I can put lamb in my freezer. That is one thing that we don't have a lot here of, is lamb. But you know, that is down the road. But even still, I'm not really worried about my food. I'm not worried about what I'm going to eat tomorrow, because it's covered. It's taken care of. It's all there. So at the end of the day, what it comes down to, I think, for the majority of us, is just that we have maybe a community that has overcomplicated what food prep actually is and what all it entails. And really, if we go back in history, just to say our colonial period here in America, we didn't have all of these things that we are prepping and putting away and doing the way that we're doing. There just wasn't. There wasn't. There was some canning that happened. There was types of fermentation, jerking, smoking, different preserving methods along those lines. But it was very, very simple food. Okay? It wasn't all of these condiments and making ketchup for a year and making your own barbecue sauce and having XYZ all prepared and planned out. It wasn't all of this freeze dried. They didn't have that back then. And you know what? They were probably healthier than we were. And on top of that, they didn't have as much flour and sugar as we have access to now. Now it's what, like the average person consumes around 133 pounds of flour. Used to be in the colonial era that would take care of a large family. So we've gone way overboard on what we think our food needs and requirements are. And I think we maybe need to dial it back. The fact of the matter is when it comes to this kind of a lifestyle, you really can't be 100% sustainable by yourself. It's not possible. I've been watching the homesteading community for a number of years, and it's amazing to me in the last year how many people are getting out, how many people are dialing back, or they are outsourcing for different things. And really, that's how it should be. It should be a community, not a sole proprietorship. Basically, it's a community thing. So the person who does the hogs doesn't do the chickens and the cows too, because that's a lot to take care of and that's a lot to manage. And honestly, no one person should be stuck doing everything. And it is next to impossible, because if you want to be self-sustaining and you want to maintain your American lifestyle, which involves eating 133 pounds of grain a year, how are you going to do that? Because one grain field, which is what the average person would be able to do at best, is not going to supply that need. So you kind of see what I'm saying and see where I'm going with this. It's really not a sustainable thing. And if there's one thing that I have been looking at with doing this, and this is why we have the option of getting chickens. We do. We have the option of getting chickens, but I have not done chickens yet. But I'm not feeling a need to bite the bullet on it. So, number one, don't jump in and get in over your head. I'm not saying don't do this lifestyle. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it is very easy to get yourself into a situation in this lifestyle where you are completely overwhelmed and miserable. And my goal when I started doing this, I wanted a life that I didn't feel the need to have a vacation from. I was sick to death of TGIF mentality. I was sick to death of waiting for the next vacation and being miserable in the interim until it came around and I could rest. I was sick to death of the corporate grind. So when I did this, even though, because this sort of a lifestyle is a 365, you don't get vacation kind of a lifestyle. And a lot of people don't realize that there is no taking breaks, really. And when you are trying to do everything yourself, that just makes it even more impactful, more weighty, and really you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. So you need to know your limits. That would be my first piece of advice. Know your limits. Know what you want to do and what you don't want to do. And it is okay for you to say, I don't want to raise cattle. I don't want to grow wheat. It's okay to say that you don't want to do those things. And you know what? I would highly recommend that you don't do those things. If that's not something that you are interested in doing, don't do it. Don't get into it. And it's very, very hard in the community because you've got all of these very loud voices saying, oh, you need to have this many canned goods. You need to have this amount of frozen goods. You need to have this many animals in order to sustain yourself. And you've got a lot of people who are out there with the intent of helping you and giving you numbers, really ramming all the time at what you should be doing. And there's this really high bar that has been put up there that frankly even they can't attain. They can't. They have to go to Costco to make up for what they can't do. And they tell you this. But we still, for some reason, keep going back to what they're doing and trying to emulate it. And unfortunately, I think this is breeding a lot of negativity into our lives. It's bringing a lot of negativity into the homesteading lifestyle. So at the beginning here, I kind of gave an example of what I hear a lot of. And it's anything from, I don't have a place for food storage. You know, you have a refrigerator though, right? I mean, you have a place that you can put a few jars with some dried peas, maybe. That's food storage. Get creative. You can do some very beautiful things with your produce. It is possible, and there are ways of doing it. You're going to have to think outside of the box, and maybe part of your home decor is, you know, food. Maybe we need to look at the way that we're eating, and maybe we need to go back to the good old days and the way that we used to eat, and realize that all of this grain, which is genetically modified, is probably destroying our health. I've had way too, maybe your family even eats more simply than mine does. There are a lot of families, I have aunt and uncle who they really don't do a whole lot of seasonings even. So herbs, they don't have an extensive herb pantry. So maybe herbs aren't your thing. So if that's the case, then don't worry about starting an herb garden. You know, do what is going to be valuable for you and your family in your space. And that is an automatic prepping move, because it's going to be valuable for you. It's going to be valuable for your kids, your husband, your wife, whoever it is. Maybe you're somebody who enjoys hunting. And if you enjoy hunting, then maybe your prepping is you're stocking up on bullets and you're stocking up on gear and things that you need to go hunting, to bring home the deer, to put it in the freezer. Maybe that's your kind of prepping, because that is a type of prepping. So really, I think we need to maybe get out of this odd mental space and box that we've shoved ourselves into, or have allowed ourselves to be shoved into. And maybe we would be better off conserving our energy for the things that are absolutely important to us, the things that we know are going to serve us and our family. And then, heck, maybe we'll have a little bit of extra time left over to, I don't know, play and have fun with our kids or our friends, our family, our neighbors. Maybe we'll be able to be more engaged with the people around us because we're not busy falling into fear and worry over our preparedness and or our lack of preparedness because we didn't do enough. I mean, seriously, what's enough? Because really, when you think about it, our culture is all about if more is good, more is even better. That could be our cultural motto. Yeah. So we're putting all of this stuff aside, and even I have stuff upstairs on some shelving that I'm looking at and I'm going, why did we do that? Why did we get those canned goods? I mean, yeah, we had another prepper tell us that we should probably be getting those things. Yeah, you know, it's not that it's not food, because it is food, but at this point, I don't even know that we'll use it. So it's really not helping us any. So I'm actually thinking of pulling those things off of the shelf and taking it over to the local food pantry where it can at least be used and put to good use by people who are interested in consuming it. Okay, so, I mean, I don't know where you are in your journey particularly, and this is also part of the reason that my mom and I made our quick start guide to small space gardening, because honestly, you can do a lot in a very small amount of space as far as growing your own food and even being able to store your own food. And if that's a topic that you are interested in me maybe talking about this winter, food storage and small space, like tips and tricks and troubleshooting, just drop me a comment down below. I would always be open to sharing our different tips and tricks that way. But you can still do a significant amount of food storage and growth. And as I said in this video, what we have here, I'm probably going to reduce next year because we're not consuming that much of it. So we can either A, keep the quantity that we have now and have some to sell, or B, we can dial it back and maybe have a less intensive garden and or be able to grow some different crops. So we have a lot of options now because of this shift and change that we have made in our lifestyles. And that opens up a huge realm of possibilities. And that is really why the guide is there, is so that you can do the same thing. And your space isn't going to be the same as our space, but that doesn't matter, because honestly, you can grow something and you can have stuff set aside for you and for your family. It is 100% possible, and it is possible to get yourself jump started in 3 days. That is exactly what that guide will show you. It gives you the real straightforward nitty-gritty, none of the angst that you see on all the social medias and all the different opinions. It just gives you the straightforward information that you need to start your garden space in 3 days. So we're talking like a DIY weekend. You can have your garden up and then you can be growing something in it. I want you to have the life that you want to have and have it in a sustainable way, if that makes sense. Because burnt out. That's so 90s. 90s is calling. They want their burnout back. Okay, let's just not go there. We don't want to go to burnout stage. We want you to be happy, productive, and joyful in the space that you have where you are. And I believe that is 100% possible no matter where you are. No matter what city you live in, no matter what limitation you think you have, it is possible. If you have any questions or comments, go on ahead and drop them down below. I probably have generated quite a bit of hate with this video. I really don't care. But we'll find out, won't we? So I will see you guys on the next video. And I do hope that this did encourage you if you have felt too discouraged in your space prior to start. And also the guide, I've got it on sale. It is on sale right now through the month of August. It's $7, guys, before it goes evergreen. Get it while it's on sale. I'll have a link to it in the description box below. You can also go and check the link over on our Stan store. And if you are wanting to know more about how I do preserving, prepping, and etc. in years past and as well as this year, I'll go on ahead and I will link a video right over here for you to click on and get some more information and maybe some more tips and tricks and ideas that you can use or convert to what will work for your space. All right? So guys, as always, keep it simple, natural, and essential. We'll see you on the next video. Bye.